morning. Good morning. It is still morning. RT Bear here coming to you live from Hack Shack Studios. How is everyone this bright and shiny, what is it, Thursday? Thursday morning. Hope you all are doing fine. As always, signs of life in the chat always help. Give me confidence, actually. I'll say it that way. Why is my camera doing that? It's jumping. That's weird. I think my computer has been glitching. I've been trying to set this thing up. I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Okay, so that should take care of that problem, hopefully. So no more glitches. Yeah, well, I hope everyone's doing well. Sign of Life. We got the Sign of Life here. We got Paulus Arts. What's up? Good morning. We got Leg Kick. What is going on? We got Kevin Everson. How you doing? Good morning. Yeah, I've been kind of absent for a couple days. We had Hurricane Beryl blow through here and do what hurricanes do. It's my first hurricane, so I've never experienced anything like this. I've seen stuff before. And a neighbor who is a pilot said that the eye of the storm went right over where we live. So I'm not really sure what that means. But they were saying like 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. I don't think it got that much. Maybe top 60. I don't know. I'm not a very good judge of this stuff, but I know like the water was kind of going horizontal. It was just going straight across. And I'm still cleaning up the yard. It's just kind of an ongoing thing for days now. I dug out the pool. The pool was just, there were branches and just all kinds of stuff. It took me almost all day. I think I did it Tuesday, and it was a little dirty, but the good thing is I kind of cleaned it from inside, like I was in the water while I was pulling stuff out, so I could stay cool because it was hot too. So we had no power. The power went out, and so I'm still pulling stuff, out of things and cleaning up. There was this branch. It was probably about 5 feet long, and it was stuck straight in the ground like it was a tree. And it was about 1.5 feet in the ground, like embedded. Like it took a lot of strength to get it out of the ground. I couldn't believe it. Just the sheer, like, I guess 60, 70, 80 mile an hour winds will do that. But I'd never seen anything like that. Like just things flying and not like to the ground, like just flying straight across like this way. And so I was looking out the window, and I heard like a crack, and then I looked over on the other side of the fence, and I just see the top of this tree just kind of come straight down into my neighbor's yard. And then and I couldn't see much past that because it's like when it rains that heavy, you can't see. It's like a wall of just rain. So visibility is not very good. So once it cleared up a little bit, I could see my neighbor. This tree is probably like a 60-foot tree, just huge, like width of this thing, big pine tree. It fell. I couldn't see the ground, but it seemed like it was uprooted, and it fell in their house, and it just crushed their roof. That it was horrible. So I didn't get to see that tree fall. I did hear it. I thought it was the one tree that I could see, but it was that and that one behind it. It almost happened at the same time. So just crazy stuff. But the area is doing pretty good. Power's coming back on. There are some places that still don't have power. We went 2 days, a little over 2 days without power. So it was a little tough. The toughest thing was just, it gets hot here in the humidity, so we didn't have any air conditioning, and I had no way to get through to anybody. So I do apologize to anybody that tried to get a hold of me. during that time to see if I was okay, see if the family was okay. But we really didn't have any way to get out. Even Pamela's cell service wasn't really working. So we touched base with our daughter in California just briefly and let her know what was going on before it got really bad. So I have video. I'll show you some video. It was just before it got really bad, and it looks pretty crazy. Coming from California, I mean, we don't really have storms like this. Sometimes it'll rain pretty hard, but nothing really like this. And the one good thing is this area of the woodlands, the water drains really well. So there wasn't any flooding that I saw. The back, we got like a green belt in the back, and there's like a V ditch, and it's probably about 15, maybe deeper feet deep, and that thing was filled all the way to the top, but it drained within like a couple hours, maybe a day all the way down, but you could see it visibly draining. So that was good. And our yard, it's weird how it's structured here. We do have drains, but I think some neighbors don't really have drains. I put a few in when we moved in because I could tell like there were some low spots around the house and things like that. I could tell like the way the ground was kind of like settled and stuff, that there was problems with some of the ground. So I put those big drains in with the big PVC, and I dug a trench, and it drains out into the street. And then I got one of those pop-up drains. So I don't want any snakes in my yard. So when the water fills up, the thing pops up, and then it can drain. And then when the water goes back down, the top comes down. So that kept the water. And also I tied it into the house drain. So the drain pipe that comes down, it ties into that drain, catches the water that's there, catches the water from the roof, and then brings it out. Having hindsight, I wish I would have done one of those French drains, which is that big PVC. If I would have drilled holes in it, then that would have actually taken some water in as well. But I don't know. For me, it's kind of a catch-22 because that thing fills up, then it seems like the water can come out of it too. So maybe it's a good thing I didn't do that. Along that way out to the street. But anyway, and there's a little bit of water that catches behind the garage because there's 4 properties that kind of gather there, and none of them have any drains. So whoever has the low spot in their yard, that's where all the water goes. And then my yard is kind of there's a middle part, and it kind of drains this way, or it's graded this way. So the pool is in this corner over here, but it's kind of what do they call it, above ground, like part of it's out of the ground. Actually, you can't really tell, but it's about like almost 3 feet out of the ground because of the grading. So the ground goes down around behind the pool and then out to that green belt. So the water drains pretty well. So we didn't have a lot of problems with water. I mean, when it's raining a lot, and it's not, because I mean, we had like 5 hours of a storm. It might have been a little longer. Water does back up, but it drains pretty quickly. So we were lucky in that respect. And also we had a lot of branches break and snap and went into the backyard, but it really didn't. I mean, we had one big one and it came close to the house, but somehow I have a bunch of shrubs. I have some pots. I have a lot of like ornamental stuff, and it fell between everything. It didn't hit the house. It didn't hit the roof. It didn't hit the side of the house. It didn't hit any of the plants. It didn't hit anything. It fell like perfect. And then the top, I don't know what kind of tree this is, but the whole top snapped off and it fell onto, we have like an outdoor like fire pit. And that branch was probably about 11 or 12 feet, and it was thick. So that fell. It didn't do any damage. Um, so it fell onto that outdoor fire pit. We had a huge branch into the pool, and it didn't do any damage. The pool was full of stuff. Like when I say full, it was full. You couldn't see the bottom of the pool. Like it was just full of branches and leaves and everything. The water was green. It was really strange. Um, and then we have a fence, and we have an oak tree in the back, and two huge branches fell. One of them still in the tree. It kind of fell straight, like the top snapped off, and it fell straight, and it got caught in the tree itself. So that's probably going to be problems down the line because it didn't fall to the ground, and it's heavy. But it's not. If it did fall, it would bust up some plants and stuff, but it wouldn't hit the pool. So I think I'm going to have to hire somebody to cut that thing out before it does any damage. But I'm going to wait because I'm sure those guys are just, one, they're backed up around here, and two, I bet they're charging a premium to come out and clear people's property. I'm pretty good with that stuff, so I got a lot of tools, and I borrowed my neighbor's chainsaw. So the bigger stuff, I either use my tree saw or the chainsaw, and cut the bigger branches up. So that oak tree fell onto the fence, and it took out about a 5 or 6 foot section of the fence. So I put up a temporary. I kind of built it yesterday, and my neighbors got chickens, and so I didn't want their chickens in my backyard, and I didn't want the dog to get out. So I fixed that. Their whole fences, they got hit bad. Their whole fence, the back fence, it was already kind of jerry-rigged anyway. So it fell down. Anything that was weak, like our fence, I keep it up. And also when we moved in, I bought a brand new fence all the way around. So it's in pretty good shape. I still have to go and structure the one that broke up because I just temporarily fixed it. So I got to get some 2x4s in there and reinforce it and kind of rebuild it. But it's good for now. And then just clean up. It's just clean up the whole driveway. Our neighbor's tree came down in the driveway. So it was a big oak tree, and I hope he takes that thing down. I talked to him because that thing's always snapping and breaking, and it fell on his house, part of it, but most of it was in our drive. So Pamela and I cleared the driveway. It's still a mess, but we can drive the car through it, no problem. But there's some big ass branches. So anyway, man, it's all good. We're fine. The majority of the real issues were just not having any power. So our kitchen is all electric, which is a drag. I'm gonna go on an electric versus gas rant at some point in this live stream, you guys. But before I go any further, I'm going to show you the reason for the season. I haven't been able to promote Oodles of Doodles, so I want to get that out there. So if you guys do not know, I have a campaign. It's an Indiegogo campaign. It's called Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. It's a lavish hardbound art book showcasing the various creative sides of me. So we got a couple great backers yesterday. So we're under 400 away from 9,000. So double digits would be great. It would make my heart sing if we could get there. So, a few more backers, maybe if we could round that to 70 backers, that would bring us up to 10 grand, to 10K. And these are expensive campaigns, you guys. So at this point, I think we're starting to show a little bit of profit. But once you pay for the printing, all the shipping, because the shipping comes out of that, and the Indiegogo platform fees, It's pretty much about what we've made so far. So we're kind of getting into the profit phase, which is good because I mean, I have no illusions of really getting rich, but what I would like to do is just make enough that I could keep the lights on here until I can get to that campaign, the black and white campaign, which is coming out in October. I have done some research, and art books are a little tough, but I really do believe in this one, and I think after 40 years in this industry, it just felt right to put the art book out. So it's got a lot of stuff from the past, the middle of my career, and kind of like newer stuff. So this is a slightly different version. This is the second printing of Oodles of Doodles, but it's a different version of the book. So I'll show you some pages, some new pages for this book. So this is what the cover looks like. This is a variation of Whitney Sung, aka White, doing some damage to these robots. And so we got that. The hardcover book is 9 by 12, 60 pages of glossy heavy stock glossy paper. So it's going to be a fantastic looking book. It's going to be gorgeous. Oodles is filled with images that come from Arts, Marvel, DC, Image, and the Comicsgate days. There are also Condoodles commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture visuals galore. Art style has been honed to perfection after over 40 years in the comics industry and viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. So that is very true. So here's a quote from Kevin Nolan, a living legend, also a jam piece he and I did of Batman. So that was awesome. Sometimes these opportunities come up and they're just like once in a lifetime, one, getting a quote, for the art book from Kevin Nolan, and two, doing a jam, not just a jam artwork wise, but also one of my favorite characters, which is Batman. So here is a double page. All these are double page spreads. So the book is all laid out to where they're huge double page spreads. Not a lot of text because, I mean, to be honest, I don't like a lot of text in my art books. I like art. There's some explanation of things, but not, sometimes there's like pages of text and stuff like that. I don't really care for that. So I wanted to make this book about artwork. And I always think visuals speak louder than words. So the pop culture aspects are like Captain Kirk and Gigantor. The Gigantor piece was penciled by Mike Mignola. He was posting stuff like these pop culture pencils on his Facebook, and I just grabbed one, blue lined it, and inked it up, and did some gray scale stuff with ink wash. And I thought it came out really cool, so I added that to the book. That wasn't in the original book. The Kirk piece isn't in the original, and definitely Mandy Summers and Del Keown's Gem Shock was not, and Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog, and Mark Poulton and John Malin's Graveyard Shift Lilith piece was not in the original. When the book launched, those characters, well, I guess Cyberfrog existed, but the other IPs did not. So those are brand new. We got some stuff from 94. It's not 94. I got to figure this out. I think it's 92. 92 or 93 when I did Cable. So this was from the original that I still had from that time. I scanned it and digitally re-inked it, cleaned it all up. And then I had the brilliant Thomas Mason, do some color work. So the only place you're going to get this version is in this book. So this is a new version. This was a piece that was commissioned by Marvel in the day. So this was a promotional piece that I did. It was used for the Diamond catalog cover, I believe. And then later, Marvel used it for a retail poster. But I guarantee you it didn't look this good. This is all digitally remastered and colored by Thomas Mason. So like I said, this is the only place you're going to get this particular version of this drawing. So here's some of the creator IP Treater owned IP. This was a animation pitch I did. It was called Hit. I did it for Adult Swim, Spike TV. Got pretty far with it actually, but it was a little too. It wasn't PC enough. Let's just put it that way. And so they passed on it. So I did get a handwritten rejection letter from the Adult Swim guy. I forget his name now. I got the letter somewhere. He didn't send me an email or anything. He actually wrote it by hand and mailed it to me. So that was cool. And then Billy Tucci She. This is a work in progress page. So you get to see the thumbnail, the thumbnail inks, and then the finished production. Pen and ink on the right side there. So there is some work in progress. So things that like behind the scenes stuff that you guys have never seen. So that's going to be in the book as well. So then we got prints galore. We got this print, which is the Pit print, I should say. Del Keown gave me permission to use it. So I was like, that's awesome. There's a lot of really cool people in CG. There are some really cool people still in the comics industry as well. You never hear them talk because they stay quiet, but there are some out there, and hopefully I'm still friends with them. I don't know. I guess only time will tell. So this is a pretty cool, unique opportunity, you guys. So I wanted to kind of show you what the next black and white story arc is going to be. So this is Juju. She's the big bad for the next story arc, which is going to be volume 3, and we're calling it Sins of the Father. So we're celebrating 30 years. So 30 years ago, black and white first saw print in '94. It came out through Image Comics, and Juju is going to be the big bad for the upcoming series. It's going to be in 2 volumes, just like the original storyline was, volume 1 and 2. So this is going to be volume 3 and 4, which will tell this new story. And so volume 3 is going to, well, volume 3 and 4 are going to have Juju as one of the main big bads in the storyline. So here's 11 by 17 poster print of the character. I think it came out really cool, so I wanted to offer it to let you guys I don't know, in on some cool artwork, and also just it's like a little preview piece of what's to come with the new series. So then we have some print sets. So these are 8.5 by 11s. We have a set A, set B. So this is set A, and keep in mind the book is signed and numbered. So most of the tiers, I think all the tiers, come with a signed and numbered book. So some of you have asked if I could just post up or put as a tier just the prints themselves without the book, because the only place you can get everything is in the Jam. But if you kind of back some of the early birds or some of the drawing tiers, you can't get the prints, because it doesn't make sense to kind of back one of the print tiers, because they all come with a book. So you don't want to buy an extra book and all that other stuff. So I understand. And for anybody that's kind of holding out, I'm pretty sure that will happen. Pamela and I just kind of been inundated with stuff. There's been a lot of stuff happening lately. And so we got to get in there and do this. So it will happen probably within the next week or so. So if you guys want to get some of those prints, we'll have a tier. We're not going to do it as add-ons, but we will have a tier that will have like a set B, a set, or set A, set B, and then you can get the Juju prints separately as well. So then you can back whatever tier you want, and if it doesn't come with the print set you want, then you can just back that tier as well. So I think it'll work easier. It'll work better, because Pamela says, like with the add-ons, it becomes hard to keep track of the add-ons. So trying to make it easier on her. I mean, you guys, that Black and White Volume 2, she got that whole campaign out in like a month and a half. It was definitely under 2 months. So she worked her ass off to get those books out to you. So she doesn't mess around with this stuff. So if we can make it easier on her, that's what we're going to do. Also, you guys, the book is pretty much done. The files are there. They're ready to go to the printer, but I'm going to add new pages to it. So I'm going to see what the book, how the campaign is going to shape up before I do that stuff. And then once it looks like, you know, it's going to do okay and all that other stuff, then I'm gonna get in and start putting the pages together. What I mean by that is, like, so we can know what the print run's going to be, you know, and then I'll put the book together and then we'll get it out to the printer. But I have to prioritize things every day, so some things get put on the back burner, and some things get put on the front burner, and sometimes it depends on the day. So right now I'm really focused on promoting this campaign, and also getting Black and White Volume 3 ready for October. So this October is where we're going to launch Volume 3. So this is a head sketch tier that you can get. These are going to be on the flyleaf. This is the new power suits, the Black and White power suits for Volume 3. So you guys have this to look forward to. I really like the new designs. I think they look incredible. And so I thought I would offer those in this campaign as flyleaf commemorative head sketches. So you can get black or white, or you can get the combination of the two. So there's 3 different tiers for that. They're going to look incredible on the flyleaf. The flyleaf is that loose white sheet of paper that's in the book. You guys have really been asking for me to bring back the 11 by 17 commissions. So I only offered one. It sold out like quick. So I'm going to add at least another one. So if you guys want the 11 by 17 commission, stay tuned and keep checking back. I'll probably announce it in the updates, and so then you guys will know, and I'll probably tweet it out as well. So just keep an ear out for it. I'm not going to do a lot of commissions and drawing, just because I want to devote as much time to Black and White Volume 3 to get as much of the book done before we launch. And it's looking good, you guys. There's a lot of the book that's happening. It's already I think we're 7 pages into the artwork. I'm talking to the colorist now, and he wants me to send a big chunk so he can see the entire scene. So I'm just about ready to do that, and then as soon as they're colored, I'm gonna get them out to the letterer. I could probably do that now, actually, and because the files can go over the inks, they don't have to go over the coloring. And so I can get a lot of this stuff done before we even launch, so we can get this book done quicker and get it to you. Also, Oodles is we're gonna ship this thing out before Christmas. So if you have an art fan out there, comic book art fan, you can back this, and we're gonna get this. I'm not guaranteeing it, but we're gonna try our hardest to get this out before Christmas. So we got that, and then we got the 9 by 12 head sketches, and these are selling pretty quick. I think we only have a few left. So if you want something on this level, this is a Voodoo Wildcats, Voodoo, Jim Lee's character. So I can do that for you guys as well. So that's pretty much the campaign at this point, you guys. I do appreciate and thank you for all the support that you've given so far. You know, I got 66 backers, 9,605. We are so close to that 10K. So let's keep getting the word out, keep getting the backers in here. And once again, thank you guys so very much. I could not do this without you. So I do appreciate. Thank you from my heart. I don't want to go back to Marvel, and I don't want to go back to DC. I feel like I've climbed that mountain. You know, I've done everything I could do, and there's nothing left to prove there. But here, I got a lot to do. Like, it's interesting, it's fun, hanging out with you guys, creating books and stories for you guys is just, it's just filling me full of like a newfound life, to be honest. I mean, Marvel and DC, after doing something for 40 years, I know I'm kind of doing the same thing, but it's a lot different. Like this crowdfund stuff, create your own, creating stuff out of whole cloth, writing it, penciling it, inking, all that stuff. It's a challenge, but I look forward to it every day. It's definitely not boring. It keeps me on my toes. Joe Bernardo, good morning. Aloha, Art. It's good to see you made it out of the hurricane. Well, yes, yes. Um, yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of I guess we had Hurricane Harvey a few years back here before we moved. Pamela and I moved from California, and they said like power was restored like really quickly. Like here this time out, it didn't seem like it was as bad of a storm. I wasn't here, so I can't gauge it. Just the neighbors, they're the ones that have told me, and they said like power was out maybe a day, but not as long as it has been here. And so I don't know. It's really weird because the power company also, before the storm really hit, they were saying power is going to be out for 2 to 3 days. They were saying that up front. Like, I'm thinking, how do you know the power is going to be out before anything happens? So it almost seemed like the power outage was planned. Um, and it's not just me, like all the neighbors I talked to, they felt the same way. So I thought that was interesting. So who knows. I'm going to look into a backup generator. I'm definitely not going to do it anytime soon because I'm sure the prices will be through the roof. uh, my neighbor's got like a little $1,200 gasoline portable, and it kept his refrigerator and some just like little things like lights and stuff like that on. He couldn't run his air with it, and he couldn't run his pool pump with it. So, but it took care of the food, which is good because we had the frozen stuff we were able to salvage, but all the like cheeses and lunch meat and like orange juice and stuff like that, we had to throw out. So I mean, we probably threw out, I don't know, based on prices these days, probably $200 worth of groceries, which broke my heart. But what else can you do? Let's see. I lived through Hurricane Andrew, survived 8 hurricanes. Glad I don't have to do that again here in Las Vegas. Here, no natural disasters, just intense heat. I don't know if you guys have rolling blackouts. Like California had rolling blackouts in the summertime, which was annoying. So sometimes you would go without, your power. But it usually was no longer than like half a day. I don't think any of the rolling blackouts in California were like a day or even like multiple days. Oh, I don't even know what that means, David B. Please don't go PTP on us, LOL. I'm not planning on it. I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest. Now you get to pay more insurance. I'm not claiming any of this shit on my insurance. Are you kidding me? I I've been looking into not paying insurance at all, just letting my insurance go because I own this house. I'm not obligated to pay insurance at all. I don't have a mortgage, so I don't have to pay insurance. As long as I got enough FU money and I could rebuild this house if it was destroyed or whatever, I don't need insurance because quite frankly, I've never I did market research on insurance. I don't care. They say, oh, it goes up every year because XYZ, because of expenses of whatever. I'm like, BS, cry me a river. Um, in California, we were there almost 30 years. Not one claim. We had water leaks, we had slab leaks, we had problems just like you do with. We never filed one claim because we didn't want the premiums to go up. Because what do? They penalize you for using the product that you pay monthly, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to these people, and they put the fear of God in you not to even file a claim. Like, what good is the product if you're scared of using it? It's such BS. In the day, it made sense. It wasn't mandated you had to have it, like automobile or insurance, all this stuff. It was like something that if you were smart, you had the money and you could afford it, you got it. If not, no harm, no foul, right? So now everything's all bureaucracy, government's involved with everything, and you have to have this. But the thing is, at this point, I am free of it. I don't have to do it. So I've been thinking of just letting the insurance go and I'm not bragging, but I could rebuild this house if I had to. Because quite frankly, they don't pay what the house is worth. They just pay what it would be to rebuild it. So, it's not like I would be paying the full amount of like how the amount that I could sell the house for, just to repair the house. And at that point, I could subcontract it out, and I could probably, if I was smart, I could save money doing that, or I could do a lot of the work myself. Like, I've done construction before. I studied, architecture. My brother's an architect. Like, I know how this stuff's built. I'd have to get an electrician in here if, obviously there would be electrical damage if a wall fell down or a tree came through, part of the house. But other than that, like structural stuff, and once again, I'm not bragging, I could do it. I used to kid my brother, he hated it. It's like, how hard is it to build a house? And he's like, because he's an architect, so you get all pissy at me. And I'm like, it's not that hard. It's like framing a house, all that stuff, drywall. It's not that hard. Hell, and this, I don't mean this to sound bad, but like when they put up housing tracts and stuff like that, a lot of those, they're hiring day laborers and stuff like that to go in and frame those houses, so the thing is, it's not that tough. But anyways, I'm just kind of spitballing out loud. Just like worst case scenario, yeah, I'll rebuild the damn house myself. I also know how to do brick. Like, a lot of this stuff is brick facades. I used to lay brick with my dad, in the day, so I know how to do that. Tile work, all that stuff, I can do it. So I don't know. I'm just kind of at this place where I want independence. Like, I don't owe anybody anything. Everything I have, my car, my house, everything is paid off. I literally don't owe anybody anything, except like I use a debit. So then, but the debit just comes out of my savings anyways, my checking. So I don't even really use the credit card. For convenience, if something's a lot of money, I use a credit card, but then I pay it off at the end of the month. But even a credit, like, I've been thinking of just like ripping up those credit cards too. I'm just kind of tired of it, like, I just kind of want to live independent, and yeah, I'm just kind of sick. And yeah, like a generator would give me that independence too. Generator on the to get list now. Yeah, definitely. Our neighbor over here had a natural gas line put in, and so they had, like, it's so damn loud though. Like, I don't think they care about their neighbors. Like, the people over on the corner here, I'm pretty sure they have a top of the line generator put in. And as soon as the power goes out, that thing kicks on and every light in the house is on, and they've never had a problem. And that generator is, by generator standards, it's pretty quiet. They just had that new one, and it's really, really loud. It sounds like a lawnmower engine, like those like inexpensive like Honda generators. Those things are loud, but they're not really, you're not paying like 20K to have it installed and all that other stuff. They spent like 20K on putting that generator in. Um, I thought it would be quieter, but anyway, they had no problem. Because this is the first time they've really used it for like days on end. So I asked her, I said, when you get your gas bill, if you could tell me what it is. So because I'm doing some market research, just trying to figure out what the best way to go, because I have a natural gas heater on my pool, and when I fire that sucker up, oh shit, it's expensive. So I couldn't imagine like running, a generator for like 2 days straight. Let me see. Glad you're doing well, Art. HVAC is nice to have. Uh, I just had that's what else kind of upset me. Like, I just bought a new air conditioning system for the house. Like, I replaced everything. I replaced the blower engine. I replaced some of the ducts, the vents, the hoses or whatever. The outdoor units, everything, man. And so I think we got about a week or so of it, and then the power shut down. I was like, "What the hell, man? I can't catch a break." But I mean, I didn't have a 60-foot tree fall through my house like our neighbor did. So, I'm counting my blessings. I am not complaining. Ahoy, all you! Oh my gosh, scallywags! I can't say that word. Don't do that to me. Let's see. Loden74 says, it really sucks not having HVAC after a storm because the air that comes in is so tropical, nasty, humid, and there's not much of a breeze either. It's just stagnant. Yeah, but the first day, I don't mean to contradict you, but the first day there was a breeze. And so the first day we opened the house up. So the house had a little bit of the breeze come in, and we we spent most of the time outdoors actually because it was cooler, and I think it was just because of the breeze. But the next day, I felt what you're talking about, and sometimes just after rains here, it gets really humid. Yeah. Thank you, Take Ferret. I appreciate it. Smash that like button. And if you guys have not liked, please do so. And subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. I haven't been letting you guys know about that. So when we go live, if you hit that bell, you'll get a little heads up that we're live. So and don't take for granted that you are. Sometimes YouTube will kind of bounce you out. So if you could double check that, I would appreciate that. Thank you so much. You guys are the best, man. You guys really are. I thank you. I know I say this a lot, and I mean it, and I don't want you guys to feel I take you for granted, because I don't. I'm here because of you. I have this independence because of you. Freedom, like when there were pencils down in the industry, Marvel and DC are like, we're going to shut down. Everything's shutting down during COVID and all that bullshit that happened. Shame on you, government, for doing what you did. It was horrible. More people need to stand up against this stuff. And so we kept going, man. We kept going. I was still making comic books. We were still marketing comic books. We were still getting those comic books to you guys. And I'm talking about we as in CG. We didn't stop. We didn't miss a beat, you guys. There were no pencils down. And it's because we were completely independent. And these days, that's my, I want to be independent. I think owing, I've heard somebody else say this too, that it is kind of a form of slavery when you owe a bank money, or you owe whatever it is. it's a type of slavery. You still have freedom. You're still, able to make money, go through life, and you're not, like a more traditional slave kind of situation. But if you don't pay, if you don't pay your taxes on your house, they'll take your house. If you don't pay your mortgage, they'll take your house. If you don't pay your car, they'll take your car. You know, um, that's the reality of it. So, and then you have to pay that stuff. If you don't pay it, then you don't have it. So, and then some people get into some credit card situations, which I learned from my parents. My parents were very responsible, and they got kind of upside down. They were like the first credit card generation. So I remember my mom and dad having like serious conversations. We lived in a small house, and you could hear everything. And my mom was like, I can't do it without the credit cards. I need them. And my dad just said no. And I mean, it was heated. He got the scissors out and he cut those things up in pieces. And somehow my mom and dad made it through. They paid off those cards, because if you keep using those things, you're paying interest. It compounds. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's all designed to create slaves. They are beholden to that card, beholden to whatever it is. Like mortgages. I've been like kind of doing some research on mortgages. Like they used to be, and car payments, like they used to be for just like a couple years. Mortgage payments weren't like 30-year, 40-year. They're extending it all the time because they're trying to bring down the price to make it affordable. So, but the thing is, you're also beholden to a mortgage for a longer period of time. So you can't get out of it. So 40 years, let's say you're 20 when you buy the house. If you're 20, I doubt there's any 20-year-olds buying a house. Usually you're able to buy a house late 20s, early 30s, if you worked your ass off in your 20s. So let's say you're 30, 40-year mortgage, 70 years old, 60, 70 years old. That's crazy. That's your whole life. That's your whole life to pay off that bill. You're working your whole life to pay that mortgage off. It's crazy. Cars used to be like 8 months, a year to pay off your car. Now some of that stuff goes on like 5 years, like 3 to 5 years to pay off your car. Things are out of control, man. I think it's interest rates are high too. Flatty One says, "Good morning, my friend. Welcome to the show." Yeah, you guys, let's get those algorithms working. Thank you, Joe. Let's see the thumb count go up. Yes. Oh, new face in the chat. What is that? Asian O the Time Outlaw. Good morning, my friend, and welcome. We got Past Master in the house. What's up, my friend? I appreciate seeing you. Speaking of that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do some business here. Past Master always makes me feel like I need to work harder because he's got a wrench. So the link is in the chat, you guys. So any newbies out there, click that link. Go over to Oodles of Doodles. If you like what you see, give it a backing. These books will ship before Christmas. I can't make a 100% guarantee, but that's what we're shooting for at this moment in time. Joe says, Art, we're a Gigantor guy. Oh, hell yeah. How about Speed Racer piece in that book? Oh my gosh. Ultraman or Johnny Sacco and Giant Robot. Yeah, Giant Robot. Yeah, I loved all that shit, man. At the local park, when I lived in California, it was a community called Lakewood. And there were parks all around my house. I loved them. My sisters were older, and they used to take me. I was probably 5, 6 years old, take me to the park. And the day where you could just do stuff with your brothers and sisters. Like you didn't have to have your parents drive you. I mean, we walked to the park, and they were building like one of those. Like they have those things that like they look like Frankenstein robots. I've seen them in other parks. They're like they look like Frankenstein if he was a robot. And so they're about like 3 levels high. And then the arms are like slides and you could slide down. It's all steel, gets hotter than hell in the summertime. And then like somehow inside the head, there's like these steering wheels, like you could pretend like you could operate this giant robot. And I swear I loved that thing. So I remember I would always let's go. I need to operate giant robot, Gigantor, and I just begged my sisters to take me to the park so I could pilot my Gigantor. Good times, good times. So yeah, as a kid, man, those things were the best. PMD. I don't know what PMD is. I've always wanted to ask, are you a historian? Oh no, not even close. Chris Maycock. Morning, folks. Right back at you. Thank you, Past Master. You're on it, my friend. Yeah, you guys click the link, go over and check out Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. It is my new campaign. It's art book that collects 40 years of a career in comic books. So yeah, Tank Ferret. Maybe was Tank Ferret asking Past Master if he's a historian. I have I don't know how to say that memory. So I have many interests. History is a big one. I have I'm kind of like a practical person, so I will gather knowledge when I need it. And so for some reason right now I'm really fascinated with just finances. Uh, I heard Warren Buffett. I reposted it. I don't know how true it is. It's just kind of one of those observations and something that somebody says that has credibility. And he was talking about the deficit, and he said about spending, government spending, that if the government goes over 3% spending, that the Senate can lose their seats, or something like that. And he said, if you wanted to see things change, if you just put that in operation, you'd see things change in a heartbeat. Yeah, because I'll tell you right now, financially, what's happening, um, government overspending, just trillions of dollars in debt, and just like COVID, just bailing everybody out, stuff like that, printing money, all of these things, the government is way overextending themselves. It's like they're buying businesses, right? They let a bank go out of business, and then they buy it up. They let the auto manufacturers go out of business. They buy them up. The healthcare system, they let it go. Housing, all this stuff. They just like they just kind of they want it to die or to weaken it, and they do everything they can to weaken it. Then they propagandize it, and then they come in like they're the saviors. But all they're doing is basically accumulating. They're weakening things so that they can go in and buy them. And so they're buying them with our taxpayer dollars. They're buying them on credit. They don't have the money, but it gives them power. And then all they have to do is just accumulate more and more and more in debt. I mean, it's absurd to go, well, we as in the government's going to pay off college debt. Well, if you put that to a vote for the average person, they would not put that through. There's no way. A proxy war with Russia, the Ukraine, people would not be backing that at all. Not when you're that much in debt, and things like I heard like God, we just bought a few items yesterday at the supermarket. It cost us $75. It was like 3 bags of groceries, and there was only like I think 2 things of lunch meat. Everything else was kind of breads, and we bought some like a tomato and onion, some apples. I think, a bag of chips, like, some lunch meat. And then I bought some bags so I could, clean up the backyard with, they have these big industrial bags. $75. It was insane. I heard that like super, what is it? Just like supermarkets, just food and everything's gone up like by 30 something. I thought it was like 37%. Like, that's almost half. That's crazy. And the thing is, it's not going to change. It's not going to change till the deficit and all that stuff goes down, because that's why this is happening. The government has to stop spending money. It's only going to get worse because all they're doing is artificially stimulating the economy right now, making it seem like there's prosperity, but there's not. We're in a real recession, and it kind of has to crash, hit rock bottom so that it can be rebuilt. Because if you keep artificially stimulating, all you're doing is adding length of time to it and weaken it along the way. So eventually the check is going to be due. It's just a matter of who's going to pay it, right, and when. But it just keeps going. So we got some person. Hello, Art. Hey, what's up? No damage to the house. We had some hardscape stuff. One of the oak tree branches hit it and broke the corner off of it. But what I think I can do is I can it's cemented down. I can break it off very carefully, and then I'm going to spin it around to where the broken corner is facing the fence, so you won't be able to see it, because that's going to be expensive. It's a big old piece of it's like one piece of like slate. It's not slate. What do they call it? Flagstone. So some person says Red Valkyrie Underground Art Auction is July 13th. Check the live page for all the time slots and the artists attending. Yes, Red Valkyrie, Shay is good people. And I'm going to go on her show, I think, next month. It's this Saturday, you guys, so check that out. Marcus Kelligrew, hail all, what's up? We missed you last night on Pontificators, Pedro. Hey, Art, sorry I couldn't make it yesterday for Pontificators. My internet monkeys died for a while there. Yeah, man, I understand. You got to keep those monkeys well fed. You got to take care of them. They can't turn that turbine or that crank. I guess monkeys can use a crank. They're not like hamsters. Underground Art Auction, channel 713 at 9. So here's all the details for you guys. So you can go there, pick up some cool artwork. Man, I hear chainsaws. I hope you guys can't hear it. And I hear big thumps. So there's some big trees going down right now. When those things fall, sometimes they'll fall like the height of the tree. So, maybe 30 feet, and they'll just drop a big old piece of the trunk. Sometimes those things are about 300 pounds. So you can hear it, you can feel it. All right. So thank you, Past Master, Oodles of Doodles, other stuff too. I have some images here I'm going to show you real quick. Let's see. This is of the storm. This is not the storm. This is a commission I just finished. So let's see if I can get the storm in here. Yeah, so here, there's that top I was talking, the flagstone top that broke off. Yeah, so trust me, like, it doesn't look like much, but you can see that tree. I took this because it's the neighbor. So if you look past the fence, you see that's about a 60-foot tree. That is thousands and thousands of pounds, and it crushed that roof. You can't see the details, but the eaves of that second story, they're just crushed. So he's got some structure and roof problems. It's going to rain today too. I'm hoping that roof holds up, and they don't have complications with water. And the really horrible thing, the way life works sometimes, is They just replaced that roof. They had a tree that was close to the house that fell in that exact same area and destroyed the roof. So this is the new roof. They've only had it for about 6 months. And so it got destroyed again. So sometimes life really does suck. We had no power. So all of our stuff is electrical. Remember, I told you guys I'm going to go on a rant. I'm telling you right now, these hippies and this green stuff, they have to stop. They have to stop. What kept my area going throughout the power shortage and outage and all that was gasoline for these generators, natural gas for some of the other generators, and all of our kitchen is electric. So we couldn't use the kitchen. So, and then we have a fireplace inside, but I didn't want to heat the fireplace because it would heat the house. So the house was already hot enough. So we had, the tree fell on this. Like I said, I mean, it was a huge ass tree. So I cut it up so I could, get into the fire pit. And the fire pit got jacked. You can see it's not quite working. There's just like the jets got exposed, so it's not kind of a big flame. So I'm going to have to fix that. But there was enough heat that was generated. And so this is first thing in the morning. And so Pamela found like some frozen stew. It was kind of thawed out a little bit. So I poured it into this. It's like a popcorn maker that you can put over a flame, like for camping. So I poured the stew in there and just put it over the open flame and heated it up. And so we had beef stew, homemade beef stew. It was so good. Like when you have very little and things, you just kind of get kicked around a little bit. You appreciate the little things. And I'll tell you, that beef stew was the best beef stew I've ever had. So we had nothing. There was no cool beverages. So midday, the second day, one of our neighbors who had their freezer still working, she brought over a cold water, a bottle of water, one for Pamela and one for me. I'll tell you, oh my gosh, I drank the whole thing in one setting. It was so good. Like just to have cold water was, it was like heaven. It was amazing. So we had our breakfast stew. And so everything we ate pretty much, I cooked over this fire pit. So I was very thankful the fire pit didn't get destroyed when that big tree branch hit it. So it all worked, and I got that puppy fired up. So there were some hot dogs. So I made hot dogs. We had some chili. So I heated up the chili one for one meal. We had baked beans. So for dinner one night, we had baked beans, and we had mixed nuts. We had a bag of like a few mixed nuts. So that was our dinner one night. Baked beans and mixed nuts. So yeah, it was kind of roughing it, but you know what? You dig down, you have memories. We kicked its ass, and you learn a lot because in California there's earthquakes and there's some problems, but what happens here is you lose power, and that's one of the big things. So you get the storm that creates damage, but the power thing is a big issue. So I'm going to start pricing some generators and see if I can work some of those issues out. At least, like I said, so you have independence, peace of mind. I don't know why I took this. Oh, this picture. There's just debris everywhere. That branch is bigger than it looks. Everything is bigger than it looks, you guys, and thicker, because it just looks like it's a small branch. That thing's pretty good size. And so then you can see the pool. I already cleaned out some of it, but Pamela's trying. She couldn't get that thing out. So I had to go in the water and cut it into pieces. Like I said, this stuff's bigger than it looks, and heavier. That's a big thick branch that the oak tree just snapped off. And then you can see that it looks like a tree itself that's behind Pamela and to the left. That's the tree, the top of the tree that's right kind of behind it that just sheared off. That thing is probably 15 feet long, and it's probably about 8 inches thick. That's the one that fell in the fire pit. And then you can kind of see over by the house, that's that other tree branch that didn't hit anything. It just kind of fell, and somehow it didn't hit anything. So we lucked out there. And so here's part of the fence that broke, but I think I got what the heck? That's me enjoying the stew. Here it is. So that's the tip of the tree. It keeps going, but like in our yard, it keeps going like the end, but it goes about, I don't know, man, 15 feet into the neighbor's yard. That thing is massive. Like I said, the stuff doesn't seem that big, but it is. And so it just came through the one slat and broke it, so it doesn't look that bad. But what it did is it broke the supporting pieces on the other side. So I could push that fence over. There's about 5 feet of it that I could just kind of push over. So that's the one I just kind of temporarily fixed, so his chickens wouldn't come into my yard, and the dog wouldn't get through there. So I took a tree saw and I dismantled that puppy so I could get that fence back. Everything's pretty much cleaned up. I got everything under control. So once again, like, you can't really tell too much, but a lot of that green that you see, that's the tree that fell. That's the oak. So it fell into other stuff, so it kind of all blends, but it's a lot. So let's see. I don't know why I took 2 pictures of that. There's the fire pit. Yeah, once again, it really doesn't seem like much. It's like, what's the hubbub? That's a pretty big piece of tree there. So wait. Let's stop sharing. Come over here. That was Pamela's Facebook stuff. So yeah, there's also a video. Let's see if I can do this without screwing everything up. There it is. Okay, so let me share again. So this video I shot is just before the big stuff. Oh, and that crepe myrtle that's on the left-hand side there, that thing fell over. So it's a beautiful ornamental tree, and I've trimmed that thing up over the 4 years we've been here, and it's gorgeous. So I'm gonna get an arborist over and see if we can straighten it out, because there's like these things that you can kind of crank them like a jack, and you can slowly pull them over. I'm just worried about the roots. They don't really have much of a rooting system. So here we go. There's the oak right there. That's the crepe myrtle. That fell over already. There's the oak right back there. So right after I shot this video, I had to go in because that's when like the big hit. You can't see it, but a lot of that deck is underwater. The water was hitting the phone. You can hear the generator. You can hear the neighbor's generator. Like I said, that's not even the bad stuff. That's like just before it got really bad. And I think, no, I could hear it from inside. when my neighbor's tree fell. There was a tree that was in the foreground, like right behind the fence. I could see that through the blanket of water that was flying across. I saw that snap and it fell straight down. So we were lucky it didn't fall into the fence. The whole top of the tree, like it was 25 feet of tree, it just snapped and then it just fell straight down. And then I couldn't see the big tree that fell into his house, but I heard it and I thought it was that same tree, but it was really loud and it was kind of like a cack. It was almost like an echo effect. So I think what I was hearing is one broke, the first one, the smaller one, and then that big one. I don't think it broke. I think it uprooted and it just fell over. So yeah. So I'm gonna get a generator, you guys. So and I have some pines in the back, and when we cruised around the woodlands here, most of the trees that either snapped or uprooted were pine trees. So I have a bunch of pines in the back, and I'm going to get an arborist here, and I'm going to see how far I can take those down without killing them, because they're gorgeous back there. But if I can keep them manageable size, they won't fall over. Because I had 3 pines in California on a hill, and I love those things. And every 2 years, I would have them come in and trim them. At the time, it was only like $100 a tree. Everything's so expensive now, so I'm sure it's not going to be that cheap. Let's see, where are we in the chat? So I appreciate you guys. I hope it doesn't seem like I'm bagging. I'm just it's just like surviving, like just nature's freaking savagery. And it can always be worse, so where I'm very, very, I thank the heavens that, it was what it was. It could always be worse. It's just a little bit of, going out in the heat and clearing stuff. And the pool is working again. I got to clean, I got to flush the system, and I got to clean the basket for the pump, because I can just tell that the pressure's low. So it sucked up a lot of crap. My Polaris system, man, I'll tell you, it got a workout last couple days. So let's see. Headless says, I went 2 weeks without 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, without power after Hurricane Floyd. See, the thing, oh my gosh, like even if you had a backup generator, if you have no backup gas, you can't run that thing. I mean, if it's natural gas and the natural gas lines are still functional, you can run a generator. But like in this heat, 2 weeks, I'm not trying to exaggerate, but I don't think our pets would have lived. I mean, we have an older cat, and he didn't move. He just kind of lay. I'm getting sad thing. He just kind of laid. Arrow, he's young. He's going to be 4 years this month. We've had him. He's already 4 years old, but we haven't had him quite 4 years yet. So we're going to celebrate the time we got him. So I think next week is his birthday. And he's just a trooper, so he always wants to be close to us. So if we would move, he would follow us. But I could tell he was in a bad way. So I don't know how you stay. I don't know how you stay alive for 2 weeks without power in this summer heat in the South. Yeah, I don't know, Headless. I feel your pain, my friend. I don't even really kind of want to think about it. I guess I should prepare for the worst, because I know you can stockpile gas, those gas, those gas, they're not cans anymore, but those plastic containers. I don't know how many gallons those things hold, but but probably not that much. So I don't know if that would even keep you 2 weeks. Like if you had a couple of those, in the garage, and I don't know how long you can store gas before, it loses its, I don't know, its burnability, because I do know moisture and that gas. I think it would still work though, actually, because I've had a car set for a year, and I still fired that thing up after, the year, and it didn't run great, but the gas did ignite, so I think it still will work. Um, but I don't think that would be 2 weeks worth of gasoline. Yeah, that would be crazy. And also, you got to get a generator that's strong enough to run the AC, because my neighbor, I don't know how strong it was, but it's a portable Honda, and he said it wasn't strong enough to crank over the AC. So I think he said it takes a lot of power to just crank over the AC to get it started. So once it's started, it's kind of no problem, but those generators don't have enough power to really turn it over. So if I did invest, which I will actually, I shouldn't say it that way, I need to get something that's powerful enough to run the AC, because 2 days, they were saying 3 days. So luckily it wasn't 3 days. But if we went into a third day, um, I don't think my spirits would have been as good. And to be honest, if it wasn't for that pool, I don't think we would have made it through, because the pool stayed cool. The water wasn't great. Like what I did is we had skimmers, just those ones on the pole. So I took it off the pole, and we were basically just standing in the water and just skimming, the surface, because it couldn't filter. And so then I call it nuking, where you get basically the powder, chlorine, and you just kind of just pour it in. And without the system working, it's not optimal. It's not great, but we did that, and then I just got a bunch of chlorine tablets. I had a couple of those floaties, and I just grabbed all of them. I had 3 of them, and I just put them all in the pool. I put 3 in each one of the skimmers, because I got 2 skimmers. It's a pretty good sized pool, and I just tried to keep the chlorine in there, just to keep it reasonably clean. Oh, good for you, man. I didn't have insurance for years. On your house or on your car? When I was young, I didn't have car insurance. It wasn't the law. You didn't have to. And the only reason I did is because I couldn't afford it. The local power station was underwater for a week. Holy shit. Somebody said that we get our power from Louisiana. Like, I don't know why there wouldn't be something more local, that would for Houston and everything. I don't know how these things work. John says, hello. What's up, John? Welcome to the show. John Bernard says, let's see some thumbs up and likes. Yeah, let's do this. Let's see. Tank Fair says, insurance companies are shady by default. Yes, they are. But you know what? In the day, insurance, at least the insurance I had, was good in the day. And when I talk about in the day, I'm talking, at least 40 years ago, 35, 40 years ago, maybe 30, 35 years ago, because I had my car, right? I got into an accident, but I lived in a bad neighborhood, and some joyriders went around, and they shot my windows out with a gun. They shot my car windows out. Like I said, I grew up poor, man. I grew up poor. And so the whole driver's side that was exposed to the street, the windshield, the 2 side windows, and the back windshield was shot out. So the only 2 windows were the ones on the passenger side that were still there. And so the insurance, that's the day when insurance adjusters would come out to your car, wherever it was, like at your work or your home or your apartment or wherever it was, and they would assess. So the guy comes out, he's got his book and he's writing stuff, he's looking, he's taking pictures, and he goes, these windows, when the guy sideswiped you, did these windows break as well? I said, no, that happened the night before I got sideswiped. I think somebody shot the windows out. And he goes, no, they were broken in impact when the guy sideswiped you. And I said, oh, thank you. So he wrote it up as insurance. So the insurance company took it upon themselves to replace my windshield. And to be honest, I think that glass would, well, it's probably 50-50. I was going to say the glass was more expensive than the side swipe, but it was probably about the same. And that was insurance companies, doing what, I mean, that's kind of above and beyond. And I remember I had this. It sounds like it wasn't a cool car, but it was a cool car. It was a Honda Prelude. It was lowered. It had what kind of tires are those? Low profiles, and it was just tricked out. And it was four-wheel steering. It was a 5-speed. That car was quick. Honda transmissions are the best, man. They're like butter. I could shift that car without even pushing the clutch in once it was moving. It was a joy to drive. But anyway, when I bought it, it was still, I had insurance. I forget how it was, but anyway, I went in to get something done, like some maintenance on the car, and then the guy, he was about, I didn't buy the car new, it was used. He evaluated, he goes, your headliner is coming loose. And I go, yeah. He goes, we'll fix that too. So I don't know, like things were kind of different. Like insurance seemed like something you wanted to have. And then what was the other one? Oh, health insurance. Like I had health insurance through DC Comics a long time ago, when things were still cool. And like corporations could get like discounts for freelancers and stuff because they had like so much business that they brought to the insurance company. They would give them discounts. And I think I probably was under some kind of contract or whatever, but I don't remember being under contract. I think they just offered it to freelancers. And so I signed up. I had to pay like a certain amount every month, but it was next to nothing. Like I could afford it because I think somehow DC or something, I don't remember how the details went, but I had dental, I had vision, I had full coverage, with everything else. Like it was crazy. So I could get glasses for free. I could go to the dentist. I could get, I think I could get certain things for free. Then certain things had deductibles, but they weren't crazy deductibles like now. Like everything, like all deductibles are crazy. And then they go, well, how we could bring down your monthly payments are like higher deductibles. Well, thank you. I'm accepting more liability, paying you, so I can save some money. Like it's a racket, man. It is a complete racket. Jolly Green, good morning. Good morning to you. Insurance, the original Ponzi scheme. Yes. And the government gets involved. The next thing you know, it's legal. You have to have insurance. Let me see what Jolly Green says. Art, do you want to rebuild after a hurricane? Getting contractor supplies will be a grift. Yeah, I think you got to wait. Like all my trees, I'm going to wait, because I don't need to do it now. So I'm gonna wait until one, they're slow and maybe a little bit hard up for cash, and then I'll get those guys out here. So I know that those guys will ream me right now. So I'm lucky that I took all the big stuff and I either chainsawed it, or I have a tree saw that it's pretty sharp. I can do some damage with that thing. Um, so I'll wait on that, and then the generator I'll wait as well. We lost power in the winter time, and it wasn't as bad as the summer. So it's easier to keep warm, and we got a fireplace as long as the gas is still working. Marcus says a micron in hand and a hammer in the other. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't work. It was too damn hot. I spent very little time in the house, to be honest. We just slept in the house. My dad built houses and mostly figured it out himself from working construction. So you're probably right. It's not that difficult. Even electrical, like what I did when we moved here, I switched out all my switches because they were old. They were like the toggle switches. So I upgraded them all to like the new switches, and all my plugs I traded I changed all that stuff out. So they're all, I mean, it looks better and they work better. They're more convenient than the little toggle switches. Those look like your mom and dad's house. And the thing is, this house isn't really that old. Like the house that I had in California had all the modern stuff, and it was older than this house. So I just think it's like sometimes contractors get deals, or they have like stockpile of certain things, so they just use those up, like windows and switches and outlets and all that kind of stuff. So some person says, Art, yeah, that is too easy. I'll get into comics for a challenge. I love a good challenge. Joe says here in Vegas, you don't have car insurance, then you get your license suspended. Yeah, they check too. Like if you get pulled over, they like license and registration, and insurance, proof of insurance, right? So now it's the three. Yeah, I agree. Debt equals slavery. I really do believe that. So sometimes it's a little tough, but you have peace of mind. Joe says, you have that great Toyota Celica. That was a car I loved with its jet fighter look. I love that car. It's fast. It's a 6-speed. I think it's really, really quick. I drive it around the woodlands every once in a while. I always get looks. I know somebody in the chat is like, Toyota Celica, whatever. Like, it's not that cool. It's pretty cool, Uh, uh, and I think it doesn't have the modern convenience, because I think it's a 2001, but it's in great shape. It's got like 20,000. I think it's under 30,000 miles. I don't even think it has 20,000 miles, to be honest. I think it's under that, because I barely drove it in the day. Um, and so I take good care of it still. I have the minimum insurance on that thing that I could get. So I think I'm just insuring the other person, and just if anybody gets hurt. I don't know what they call that off the top of my head, but the car itself isn't really insured. So if I get into an accident and it's the other guy's fault, which it will be, I'm not going to cause it because I'm that good. um, if they have insurance, they should be liable if there is justice in the world. So let's see. Tank Fear says, Art, just draw Kirby Crackle until the power comes back on. Is that how it works? Does that work? Just draw black dots until like it'll generate its own power field, energy field. Some person, you could hire a guy to fan you, and the power goes out. I don't know, man. It was freaking hot. I don't think it would help. Those poor our poor pets, man. I felt so bad. What's that? Taoists are lucky. If the gas goes out, they're just contemplate the room until it's enlightened. Uh, Still not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it, Tank Ferret. 100% BS. Never comply with another shutdown. Oh yeah. You know what? Fuck that. I'm not wearing a mask. They can take me to jail. I'm going to protest it all the way. Like one of the things, like coming from, because we drove cross country during the pandemic, like during the lockdown. Um, thank goodness for truckers, because all the routes we took from across state were all interstates, and they were heavily traveled by truckers. So all the stops, all the gas stations, all that stuff stayed open. All the hotels along the way stayed open. So we did luck out that way. I don't think we came across anything that was closed. So we got really damn lucky. And but California, there were people in their cars masked up. Like you talk about, like, they always say California, free, freedom, blah blah blah. That state is so freaking uptight. I had no idea how uptight. And if there's Californians out there, I'm not saying everybody is uptight, but as a whole, that state is uptight. And everybody masked, double masked. We sold the house during the COVID scare, and the freaking real estate guy was like, he was triple masked. He wore gloves. We had to have rubber gloves. They had to schedule appointments, which was good anyway, for them to check it out. We had no open houses, which I like better anyway. We had to have masks out, on the porch, so they had to mask up before they came in the house. And then, like Pamela and I, like when people came, I didn't mask up. I didn't do it. Not in my own house. I'm not wearing a freaking mask. I don't care who comes in. I won't sell the damn house to you. You don't want to come in because I don't have a mask on. See you later. See you later. Right. And so the real estate guy's like, you should wear a mask. You should show good faith. I go, I don't care. I don't need to sell this house. I want to sell this house. And so, you know what? Then there's like, just after we sold the house, the guy's like, I can't come by. And we're like, why? He goes, because I got COVID. And I'm like, okay, you're the one triple masking. You're the one like paranoid. You're the one freaking out, and you get COVID. I I never got it. Like, either did my wife. We got sick when we came here, but it must have just been a mild case of it, because but the thing is, it seems like a flu. It seemed like a flu to me. It had the same symptoms, like a really bad flu. So you get the body aches, you get some congestion, just stuff like that. But I don't know. We kicked it pretty fast. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I'll never go through that again. We drove cross country. Thank good, everything, goodness, everything was fine. We got here. Most people weren't wearing masks. The free state of Texas. It wasn't insane. There wasn't people like, you'd walk in some places like, make sure you have your mask on. Like California, you don't have your mask on. Like, it wasn't like that here. Like, sometimes I would walk in without a mask just to see. I'd have it around my neck or something like that. Nobody hassled me. I'd go to supermarkets, stuff like that. Because the thing is, I got common sense. I know I don't have COVID. I know this isn't, like, as bad as they're saying it is. It's just so stupid. Overreacting was worse than the actual COVID itself. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to do it. Yep. Interest is done before balance. Yep. You're just paying off the frickin' interest. They want to make sure they get their money. Art dropping mad facts. My daughter, she's getting hammered. She needs to move out here, like financially, certain things at times, and so um, she was like, sometimes it's really hard. It's really hard. And I said, oh, she's having trouble at her place of employment. So they were talking about firing her or letting her go, is what they say now. And I said, what you need to do is you need to get into a career versus a job, and you need to make sure that there's growth potential wherever it is that you're going, and you need to work on getting higher up on the food chain. That's what I call it, getting higher up on the food chain, which means the higher up and the more independent you are, the more choices you have in life, like, and the more freedom you have. So if you're kind of broke and you're always kind of just chasing the next paycheck, then that's how your life is going to be. Because trust me, things are going to get more expensive. And if you're stuck in that rut, you're just going to get destroyed. So you have to get somewhere where you can get higher up on the food chain. So always in comic books, I chased the food chain. I looked for places where I could make the most money, get the best opportunities, and things like that. So I never treated comic books as like it was some kind of charity work or anything like that. In the early days, I can honestly say I was a mercenary. I just went where the money was, you know, um, and the money was always on the good books. So, I always got to work with the best people in the industry, and I got to work on the best books in the industry. That was by design. It wasn't like it just happened. It at times it seemed like it, but I was always conscious of like those things. Um, and I think Comicsgate is that place right now. Let's see. PIP, principal interest payment. When you pay 1 month's bill, pay on the balance for the next month, cuts interest in half. Yeah, and we had when we bought that house in Corona, we had one of those variable rates. We had one of those effed up mortgages, right? They were the worst of the worst mortgages, and so we were fixed for like the first couple years or whatever it was, and then it changed. And so we shopped around for a bank that would loan us the money, and nobody would, because I worked freelance. So I worked month to month, and so nobody thought, they all thought I was high risk. And so I had arguments with some of these guys, these brokers, and I go, and this once again, you guys, I'm not saying these things to brag, but I had enough money to buy that house flat out in the day. And I told them that. I said, my financial guy says that I need a tax write-off. So that's the only reason I'm going through this bullshit right now, jumping through your hoops and trying to get this loan. And so they're like, can't help you, can't help you. And so I go, what if I got a note from Marvel, and then they could give you some kind of guarantees? Can't do it, can't do it. So I did anyway. Bob Harris, I know that you hear stories, but he always stood by me, and he was a great editor every time I worked with him. I liked Bob Harris. And so he actually wrote a personal letter, said, Art's got, he's gainfully employed, he's on my books, the X-Men books, and he's not going anywhere, kind of thing. And so I finally got with a mortgage broker, and he understood comic books. He was a comic book fan, so he understood. He knew who I was, and so then he gave us, or he okayed the loan. He didn't give it to us. He okayed the loan, but we got the worst loan possible. And so the only way we kicked that loan's ass is we were always paying more. So we would double the monthly payments. We were always paying more. At the end of the year, as a tax deduction, if I had a lump sum of money, I'd put like, you know, money down on the house. So we paid that house. We paid that house down in half the time that the loan was there for. So they still got most of their interest, but we got it paid off. And so the good thing about paying off a house early is because then if there's any what do they call that? When your house goes up in price, you can benefit from that. So when your house gains, what the hell is that called? Equity. When your house gains equity, you can benefit from that. But if you're kind of upside down on your loan, or like you can't really do that. So when we sold the Corona house, we did really well, and that's why I did it too, because I knew we could live somewhere else for a more reasonable price. I see. Some person says part of it is they increase prices based on women being in the workforce instead of having reasonable pricing. Yeah, there's all kinds of BS. Like I think you're still talking about insurance. Yeah, there's all kinds of like algorithms, and now with these onboard chips, somebody was saying to me that they can monitor like your driving habits. So if you're a heavy breaker or you're like a lead foot or whatever, they can keep track of that. It's just Big Brother, man. What is that? Fractional? Is that fractionalized? Is a new buzzword, borrowing percentages, but always in debt. I'm not familiar with that. Some person says, I wonder if AI replacing lenders would make it better. Ironically, find out more money is made if you put people in lifetime debt. I don't know. We got a Gigantor fan. Yes, we got Kevin Thompson. What's up? Hey, hey, hey. Kevin has come to snuff the rooster. I dead ich. Yeah, I've always had a bad memory as well. So I kid like I could go senile and nobody would know because I'd be exactly the same as I am now. Oh, you're talking about the senators. Yeah, it was no reelection if you owe over 3%. I think that's the Warren Buffett quote. Quote of the day. Yes, yes, government create a crisis and then pretend to solve it. Yep, yep. It's you watch. You follow the trend, and almost everything that the government has gotten their hands on in the last, I don't know, 10 years plus, they destroyed the insurance company, the medical insurance. They destroyed it. It wasn't broken. I can attest to it. I can vouch for it. It wasn't broken. But they broke it, and then they propagandized it, and then they said we can fix it. Never a borrower nor a lender be. There's what are they? They said don't go through banks. Go through what the hell are they? Usually like unions, but I think average people can use them. They're financial, and they give loans and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, what is it called? Yeah, groceries are insane now. I stopped buying lunch meat. That we had peanut butter and jelly during the power outage. Yeah, but to be honest, Headless, I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna get better until it crashes. I've heard economists talk about it, and I do think like it's gonna just continue. It's just going to be, it's going to drag and drag and drag. And so like what's happening right now, prices of everything are just going to continue to go up and go up and go up because the government doesn't want things to crash. So they're artificially stimulating everything. Like right now, I heard they're giving like zero down mortgages now, because they just want to stimulate the housing market. Didn't anybody learn the 2008? In California, half my street lost their home in 2008 because they had that bad loan that I was telling you about. They had that, and when they bought the house, they paid too much for it. So the housing prices went down, and they had shitty ass loans. And also, anybody that was into construction, made a living doing construction, stuff like that, they got hit as well. So my brother lost his home. A lot of our neighbors lost their home. It was crazy. And they're doing it again. The government is like encouraging banks to go zero down so they can get, some kind of stimulus. So people that just think they have nothing to lose will go in and buy a house for zero down, not realizing that with this adjustable mortgage and the prices are high right now, they're going to be upside down just like 2008. There's going to be a whole new generation that's going to get effed over. It's also going to weaken the bank, all these loans, and then the government's going to come in and bail out the banks again, or they're going to sell these mortgages to foreign investors, which they did before. I'll tell you, get higher up on the food chain. It's the only answer. The rich get richer and the poor are getting poorer. Yeah, we're going to look into the gas lines. We have there's the laundry room is right behind the kitchen. So there is a gas line that goes in through there. So we're going to have the kitchen remodeled at some point. So Pamela loves gas too. And I have to say, those heating coils are BS. There's inconsistent heating. Things either burn or don't cook. Like, it's so weird. Gas is instant. Gas you can monitor easily. It's better for cooking. Why do you think like professional chefs don't use, that? And also in power outages, we could have cooked the food. I wouldn't have had to go out to that stupid fire. Well, I shouldn't say stupid fire pit. It saved our ass, but the fire pit, to cook food out in 90-degree heat, But anyway, yeah, I'm going to look into gas range as well, or gas stovetop. Yeah. No gas lines at all? Wow. Yeah, the people that are like, oh, electric's cleaner and all that stuff. What happens when your power goes? What if I had an electric car? What if I had an electric car and it was on almost empty? And I was like, I came home from work the night before, right? And I was like, I'll charge it overnight, right? Storm hits, boom, power goes. I don't have a car now. Like I said, everybody in the area that had stuff that they could still take care of their household, it was gasoline. It was not electric that saved their asses. It was gasoline. And I had a neighbor cross the way, and he would do reconnaissance for the cul-de-sac here. So he would drive around and say, this is open, that's open, whatever. And he couldn't have done that if he had an electric vehicle. He also had like a siphon hose. So he was willing to, because he and his wife have gasoline powered, he was willing to take gas from the cars to keep the lights on and stuff. He's got two young kids. So to keep the lights on and keep the food, cool and be able to cook, on their range and all that other stuff. So, you know, uh, I am not ever going to be pro electric. I don't like it at all. Thank you, Torchbearer. I do appreciate it. I'm going to be closing up soon, you guys. I do appreciate all you hanging out. Tank Ferret. Art was reenacting the campfire scene from Blazing Saddles. That scene is so funny. I love my wife. I love my daughter. They still think that shit's funny, and I think it's hilarious. Art forgot his fire making skills from when he lived in the caves. No, I can make a fire. Just hit two rocks together. They have those things. What are they? Um, they're like what is that stone called? Like flint, and you can whack that shit and just the spark comes right out. I have one of those. Believe it or not, I have one of those in the garage. So and I know how to make kindling. Just cut stuff up, get some paper that'll burn easy, get that fire going, and get the bigger logs on there. Actually, I did make a fire when in the winter when the power went out. Everything I bigger than it looks. That's what I keep telling her. Oh my gosh. Hey, bro! It's bigger than it looks. If you rub it a little, it'll get bigger. Richie Dupe says, does the pool have transitions? Or can I empty and skate it? Oh, in the winter time? I don't think it gets that cold. Oh, skate it like empty it and skate it like oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, you can't. And also, I don't think you could. Like this pool is the sides are really straight up. Like there isn't much of a transition from the bottom to the sides. It's just a little bit. So I don't think it would be good for roller skating or getting your bicycle in there. Joe says, if a hurricane hit you again, buy a spare shower curtain, and then it is about to hit, plug the tub and put the shower curtain in, then fill it with water and ice for clean water, easy days worth. H2O. I got to read this again. Buy a spare shower curtain, and when it's about to hit, plug the tub and put a shower curtain in. Well, I think you'd put the shower curtain in first, right? Or you put the shower curtain over it, then fill it with water and ice for clean water, easy days worth. Huh. We have a lot of bottles of water. It still gets warm, but the ice thing, it would have melted. Like that water wouldn't have kept it. That ice would have been melted like quick. So, but I do like the tub with the water in it. That's not bad. Art Godwood. All right, we got Arter Roy. What's up? Depending on how long you guys normally use power, a generator will do you, but it's expensive. Don't forget the converter. Yeah, the converter, that means that you can burn different fuels, right? You can burn natural, you can burn um, gasoline, and something else. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I'm educating myself. Yeah, it'll go weak. So there's an octane booster. Okay. I still managed to get that car turned over. It was a little bit of a, but I got it. I got it going. Um, some person says get some of those food buckets. They got one full of hamburgers. They probably taste good though. Don't know if those last long. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna get more canned goods, like canned soups and stuff like that. Those will keep, and I can heat those. That's what got us through the winter when we lost power, was the canned soups. So we just got to make sure we have stuff on hand. Yes, smash and like. We got Prador 7. Good morning for the last 10 minutes of it. Yeah, we'll get there. Um, I didn't have house insurance. Car insurance has always been required since I started driving. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I completed my thought. I was like with the insurance. I talked to everybody I knew, and I said, "Have you ever filed the claim?" Maybe one or two people, and that was like when something was really bad, but then their premiums went up and they learned their lesson. But other than that, like, and they could have paid it out of pocket. They never had their house destroyed, never had like any of that kind of serious stuff that you have insurance for. Nothing's ever happened. I don't know of one person that had their house completely destroyed, you know. So I don't I don't know. I think if you kind of stop paying, if you had the luxury of doing that, I think the money that you save, you could probably put it in some kind of you know I don't know, low risk, investments, and you could probably save up enough money that if and when something happened, that would be your go-to. So you wouldn't have to file a claim. You would already have that money that you could pull from, like if you lost your roof or something, like not catastrophic, but a pipe leak or something like that. And Dino Palacio says art is the reason why insurance companies went belly up. Hey, if we can put them out of business, I'm all for it. Art, you're pixelated. Yeah, I think there's a power problem. Potato Cam 3000. Yeah. I'm gonna wrap this up though, you guys. I see a lot of new names in the chat here. I'm just gonna go through real quick so I can say hi. I always like to say hi to you guys. So we got Spaceman, Praetor. I already said hi to. We got Philip. Philip, hey, hola, brother. Glad you survived. Yeah, you were my next on the list. I think you guys were fine living in Austin. So see you next month. Yeah. Hopefully I can get everything back to pristine shape so we can show up the yard again. Um, hello, Mike Wilson. Hope you guys weathered. Yeah, we did. We weathered the weather for sure. Phil says, love the idea to have a battle royale between artists using their styles to draw each of their primary claim to fame characters, Kirby versus Kane, etc. That would be fun. Tim Smith, welcome to the show. Hard to make these early streams. Haha. Yeah, yeah. I like to get in, kind of touch base with you guys, and then like work until the evening time, and then I can go on channels in the evening. Home equity, that's the word. I eventually got to it. Credit unions, that's the word. Yeah, credit unions. Thank you. You guys always got my back. Yeah, credit unions have a fiduciary responsibility to their customers. Yeah, and I hear like it's just way better dealing with them. So if you get okayed, well then, Andino, you have nothing to lose then. But the thing is, if you get upside down on it, then you're a credit risk. Like you can actually, they can screw you. So it's not like some people feel like I have nothing to lose, but they can screw you. Spaceman says gas is cleaner. About 40% of electric power comes from coal burning power plants. Natural gas is clean as burning fuel. Yes, there is outside of nuclear. Indeed, most reasonable people know this. Okay, Joe, like gas car instead of electric car. I agree. If there isn't a power grid, what are the use of cars? Just big Tonka toys. Yeah, and when push comes to shove, man, we've seen electric is not reliable. It is not reliable, and in these cars, you can't even take long trips in electric cars. Um, they won't take you as far as gasoline. So gas actually is it burns. You can burn it longer. It's actually I forget it's more economic. Yeah, than electric. We got Pablo Romano Art. How are you? Got some fans of Pablo here. I always like when you guys yell at each other, Tank Pablo. It's like you guys are like on two different peaks, and you're yelling across a wide, you know, expanse of land. Spambot, good morning. Thanks for the show. Thanks for hanging, man. So I'm gonna go over real quick. I hope I'm not too potatoed right now, but I got to try to make up for some lost days with this Oodles of Doodles campaign. So in case you guys have been under a rock or had your power lost for a couple days, this is my new art book, my new campaign, Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. This is it is a lavish hardbound book. It is a 60-page 12 or 9 by 12 book. It is quality all the way. I got an endorsement from Kevin Nolan, which is awesome. Here's an example of what the interior will look like. These are 2 new pages. We got pop culture stuff. We got some indie stuff, Comicsgate stuff. We got a little bit of everything, some Marvel stuff from in the day when I worked on cable. We got some animation IPs that I created. We got Billy Tucci's She that I drew up. We got some cool prints. We got Pitt. We got my creator and stuff, black and white villain Juju. We got some sets of prints. And we got set B. And remember, all these books are signed and numbered. So then we have the head sketched here. And if there's any 11 by 17 commissions, I'm working like privately, talking to you guys about these commissions. So I'm trying to figure out how many I should put up. I think I got 3 people interested right now for 11 by 17. So if you're listening right now, there may be a new 11 by 17 commission going up soon. So that may happen. Just stay tuned. Like I said, I don't want to get overbooked with too many commissions because I want to spend all my non-promotion time on putting black and white together for the next campaign, which is going to launch in October of this year. That will be the 30th anniversary. So I think we have 2 more of the headshot commissions. Let me check the tiers here. So yeah, we got 2 more left, and the 11 by 17 sold out. So Also, the early birds are all gone. So there's only 2 places you can get the pit print. It's this tier right here, which is the signed and numbered book plus the pit print. It doesn't come with set A or B, but it does come with the jam. So the jam has everything. It has all 6 prints. It has the pit print in it. It has 11 by 17, and it also has the black and white head drawing on the flyleaf. So it has both them together. So that's the campaign, you guys. I'll put the link in the description. Well, the link is in the description. I'll put it in the chat here. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out. If you like what you see, back it, please. I do appreciate it. We're about midway through the 2nd week of it, so we're going pretty strong. I'm very proud of it. You guys have been supporting the hell out of it. I do appreciate that. There's always room for more. There's always room for more. So thank you, Joe. I do appreciate it. And we're going to rock this thing. So here's the link. You guys click it, go back it, and that book's going to be shipping before you know it. So it's going to come out. I'm not 100%, so I don't want to be like, yeah, it's coming out before Christmas, but we're going to try and do everything in our power to make sure that we get that book out before Christmas. So this is the book right here. Hopefully the potato cam is showing it off in all of its glory. So it shouldn't take too much time to put this thing together, the new version of this book together, get it to the printers, and then get the new version printed up for you guys. So thanks for hanging. Thanks for all the well wishes. You guys are the best. All my prayers and well wishes to anybody out there that suffered any kind of hardships during this Beryl, I think it was Hurricane Beryl, situation. I think where most everybody is back to normal at this point. Maybe there's a couple strays that don't have their power, and maybe some people like my poor neighbor that is definitely going to need some reconstruction surgery on his rooftop there. So you guys take care. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.